One thing that's become very clear to me over my journey and through my career as an executive coach and leadership development trainer is that we all know what we don't want, don't we? If we have curly hair, we want straight hair. If we have straight hair, we want curly hair. We don't want too much responsibility. We don't want to work somewhere that we're not appreciated. We don't want this and we don't want that. Yeah? We all know what we don't want, don't we? Very rarely do we know what we do want. You know, ask yourself, what do I really like? What do I really want? What is it that we do want? What is it that is natural within us that shines and drives us? I hear people all the time saying, Carol, you know, I'm just not motivated at work or at home or in my relationship. I say, okay, so what are you going to do differently? Well, I don't know. Don't know what I want. Okay, so I work hard, I deserve more. Yes, you do. What is it that you would like? Oh, I don't know. I just know that there must be more. Then there's the people that say, well, you know what? I don't work that hard, but I'm really funny, and a lot of people like me, and nobody notices that I don't work that hard, and nobody says anything to me, so I'm just going to stay here. And then there's motivation by fear of being found out. Okay? I can see some of you have worked with people like that before. Then you've got, I'm working here, I don't really like it that much, but I'm working here because I don't know what else to do, I don't know where else to go, I need a job, I need to work, I've got a family, I've got, you know, pay my bills. That is fear of insecurity. Okay? Or I want to say yes to everything because that will make me better at what I do, and then you become a people pleaser, and then your work becomes your life. Or you say yes all the time, but you don't really agree, and then you become resentful, and then you become a gossipator. And you know the problem with those people is that they create a spiral, and what they do is they suck other people into that spiral, and then you create a culture where nobody's motivated because everybody's walking around knowing what they don't want. So think for a minute, if you could actually say, do you know what? I know what I love, I know what I'm passionate about, I know what I want to achieve, and I want to do a whole lot more of it. Now let's be realistic, 80-20 rule, we all know the Pareto principle, that you're not going to all the time get to do everything that you want. I still have to do my finances. No, I'd rather pluck my own eyebrows, honestly. It's not my thing, but I have to do it. But 80% of the time, I get to do what I love. Yeah? And I get to feel that motivation. So the truth about motivation, let's break this myth right now, bang, that was my sound effect, is that you cannot be motivated by somebody else. All of your motivation comes from within, okay? Somebody else can create a motivating environment for you, but you have to choose to engage in that environment, don't you? So all that you can do is create and model an environment around you that is motivating and invite others to engage in that. But you cannot get them to be motivated. Does that make sense? They have to choose. You have to choose. It is 100% your responsibility how you behave, what you do, and the results and the outcomes that you get. Wouldn't you agree? All right, so what we do differently. If you Google things that are related to motivation, like success and achievement and contribution, you know, most of the time you find that they are pictures of individuals. Not pictures of lots of teams, they're pictures of individuals. Why do you think that is? Because you're the only person who can feel this way. Yeah, thank you. And so when we talk about what motivates us, you need to understand that we think about ourselves 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Right? We are programmed like that. We're on that survival mode, but we are programmed to have a purpose. Okay? So take a moment to think of this. Have you ever had a dream that you're not in? You're either in it or you're seeing it through your eyes. So we're quite self-absorbed. We're 24/7 thinking about ourselves. Okay? And that's not a bad thing. Okay? We're not being selfish, but we think about ourselves. And that's why motivation has to come from within. If you were for a moment, if I could get you, if you're comfortable with this, some people aren't, for a moment, close your eyes and think about a time where you were so motivated, where you just thought, I wish I could do this over and over again. I just love it. I love how I feel. I love how the people around me feel. I love what I've done. I'm just fist pumping the air, or not. You know? But I just, and just imagine that moment and what's happening for you and the feeling that you're feeling and what you're doing and what you're saying to yourself. Can everyone get a moment like that? Can someone be brave enough to share one moment where they felt completely motivated and what they were doing, provided it was legal?
There was a previous company, there was a team of writers in Melbourne that got flown to Melbourne to teach the plain language, how to do plain language basically.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did they work better as a team, and the next day I actually edited each one and individually mentored them and what have you. Within 2 weeks they improved their writing efficiency by 40%.
Amazing.
And they were such an energetic group, and when I first got there it wasn't, you know, they're all working individually and then they started working as a team. And
yeah. And what made you want to make that difference? What were you getting from it?
Well, just that I knew that the principles I was teaching was going to work.
Hmm.
And to see it work that well was the surprise, and why it's such a moment that I hang on to.
Great. A moment that you hang on to. And she did all the work. You engaged others, but everybody had to engage with you to feel that motivation that you felt. Well done. Thank you for sharing. Okay. So what I want to introduce you to here is something that I learned. I've been through a lengthy journey back from 2000s or 1980s, okay, 88. And, you know, and over the last 10 years, I've gone through a lot of personal growth through neuro-linguistic programming, learning to change your thinking, to change the outcomes that you get, through Gallup strengths coaching and understanding what it is, what your talents are, your key natural talents, through extended disc behavioural profiling and understanding people's behaviour, and I've become very curious about people, you know? And when I think about this, before I talk about this, I remember a job that I had where I was at my wit's end. And there was a lot of bullying going on in the organisation, there was a lot of personal attacks, there was a lot of people well, not a lot of people, but individuals in the organisation who were in very high positions, who were making it very difficult to people to work in the organisation. And I remember just bit by bit, confidence stripping off me, and self-esteem, and until eventually, you know, my hands were so hogtied by poor culture and poor practice that I had to go. I literally could not get out of bed to go to work. I have never, ever felt like that before. You know, here I am, I'm the eternal optimist. You know, I'm that hospitality girl. And never had I felt it was like a big black hole opened up and just sucked me into it. And I went home for 4 days. And in that 4 days, I just sat under my doona, okay? And I ate a lot of snack chocolate, okay? And I watched a lot of reruns of Law and Order, Criminal Intent. And do you know what? And I had a bundle of emotions. My partner did not know what to do with me. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was depressed, I was angry, I was anxious, I was frustrated. I felt ashamed that I couldn't get out of bed. And it was only on that 4th day that I learned the true meaning of motivation. And I sat up and I remembered what that CEO, that Barry, had said to me. Carol, be the change you want to see. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I just thought, this is not it. My eyes were like empty. You know, it was like there was nothing there anymore. And I just thought, you know what, again, enough's enough. But the questions I had to ask myself then was, instead of saying, what don't I like? I had to start asking myself, what do I love? What do I do? What do I do well? Yeah? And when you're stripped of your self-esteem and confidence, it's a tough question. Yeah? And when you're a workaholic and a people pleaser like I was, it's an even tougher question because the only thing you know to love is your work. And so when you lose that, you lose part of yourself. So how do I reignite that fire within? And so I think about what can you do? What are you good at? What do you like doing? And the only thing I could think was, you know what? I love sitting in cafes watching people. Not stalking, but just watching and wondering, what does that person do? Where are they from? What brought them here? How come they're not at work today? Yeah? Then I discovered that whole cafe culture is you've got your own business. Yeah? And that's your new home office until you've made enough money to get an office of your own. Okay, it's great. So, you know, and I sat there and I wrote on the back of a coaster, like a coffee coaster, not a beer coaster, belief. The word belief. I don't know, it just like came to me. And I thought, you know what, I have that. I do truly have that. Belief that there is something better. And from that word, my journey into the next 10 years began. And from that word, I created a whole sales and service program that I ran, and it was fantastic, and I loved it, and other people loved it as well, which was fortunate. But it was from that point forward, and as I said, I continued this journey, and then I got to strengths. And then I said, oh, wow, okay, so what's this all about? Thinking that I knew myself so well. And I discovered Gallup Clifton Strengths, and there's 34 talents that we have. And I'm going to explain what they are in a minute. And within those 34, there are 4 key themes that are driven through those 34 talents. And those are strategic, and executing, and influencing, and relationship building. And so they've done a lot of research to say these 4 themes run through us. If you look at the executing themes, people who have this theme are all about doing, getting it done. You might find yourself a little bit impatient, don't like meetings too much, because we're all about executing. Let's just take action. Let's do it. Okay? These are the sorts of words or sorts of talents that go with the executing theme. The achiever, I have to get it over the line. Stop holding me back. The arranger is like the maestro. Yeah? I'm like the musician in the room, and I can put all my musical instruments together to create the best outcome. Okay? Responsibility is that I take psychological responsibility for what I do. It's not just a job or a family for me. It's important to me. Restorative is about problem. I love solving problems. Yeah? These are the types of themes in executing, I should say. Then the influencing. So these are the people that get up and they've got something to say and they need to be heard and they're worth being heard. Yeah? They're able to communicate in a way that people want to listen to them. They enjoy competition because they have a benchmark to which they can beat in a very healthy manner. Right? Self-assurance, that internal compass that says, you know what, I'm pretty sure I'm doing the right thing here. Yeah? Woo, winning others over. They're the people in the room that hand you the most business cards. Yeah? They're the influencers. Then the relationship builders. These people are about adaptability, about developing others, about deep diving into people with their permission to find out all about them, about recognising people for their unique talents as you sit before me in a room. And the strategic. I love the strategic because it's about the people who never say die. They never say no. There's always a way. Yeah? Because when you think about strategic, it's always looking for the best way forward. And when somebody blocks one way, there's always another. And so together, and people have all different types of these themes, and together you can create real spark. So how about we find the magic within? How do we do that? Undermined by your values. Okay? And values are those things that you live by. Values, my values, determination, curiosity, focus, results and contribution. This is what I value as an individual. And then when I did my strengths, what I discovered was this. In my little bucket of tricks here, I have individualisation. Yeah? This is my ability to see all of you individually in the room and wonder about all of you and how different you are. And be able to speak to you all differently at any different time. Okay? It's about not putting everybody... You're not all just a group of nabbers to me. Do you call yourselves nabbers? No? Okay, you can use that. Right? Please, feel free. All right, the relator, as I said, is that ability to deep dive into people. Who here gets asked for directions by complete strangers? Yeah, and you think you've got that face? You do. Okay, do you have friends that just tell you everything? Yeah, and you're just like, I didn't actually need to know that much. Yeah, but relators build trust really, really quickly. So imagine having a relator in a group of people. In a team that you're working with, you build relationships very quickly. Maximisers, good, better, best, always looking to be better, to do better, to find more, to learn more, to achieve more. Okay? Empathy, this is about being able to hold my emotional space so I can let your emotional space come in without any judgment. Achiever, this is about getting across the line. Can't leave anything undone. Wanting to do. Yeah? And with all of these strengths and with everything else, there's light and there's dark, sun and moon. So there are balconies and basements. So an achiever always wants to get things done but could jump in without looking sometimes. You know, which is why we need our strategic people to come in and give us a hand. Okay? And then positivity, and that's just creating that energy where people want to be around you. Who in here walks into a room and people are excited to see them? You are, aren't you? Okay, so these are just mine. These are just mine. But when I think about this and when I look at what I do for a living, I actually understand I'm in the right place. I'm in the right career. I do what I love, and you know what? You know how I know I love it? Because it happens so quickly. Not just for me, but for everyone else around me. So, what do you yearn for? This is the question that we're asking. What is it that you yearn for? What is it that you're passionate about? When you look at those themes, are you interested in knowing what it is that you yearn for? Okay, so what do you need to know? Here's the one thing about the strengths, is that all of those, just those top, they're just top 5 I showed you, or top 6. And they are natural. They are natural talents that just happen without you even realising it. So it's not even that you can control them in your life. They're there. You know? What you need to know is that nobody has the same 5 talents in the same order, because the order they're in makes a difference as well. In 1 in 30, it's not nobody, 1 in 33 million. Yeah? So you are unique. Okay? So if you ever thought, I'm just like that person sitting next to me, you're not. Okay? You are completely unique. 1 in 33 million. That's huge, right? The chances of someone having the same motivational drivers, having the same things that light them up inside as you, is 1 in 33 million. I think that's incredible. I always knew I was special, but I didn't know I was that special. Okay, and now you all know how special you are. All right. So, where do we go from here? Who do you need to be? So when I got up out of that bed, I decided I needed to be the best version of myself. I knew, I had an idea of what my strengths were. I still had that quick wit. I still had that curiosity. I still had that focus and that wanting to contribute and that love of people and behaviour. So that's what I decided. I want to be the best version of myself. And then I say, well, what do I need to do to make that happen? And so every day I think about what I want to achieve in today. And I do that. And how do I do that? I have to know what I want. And then I have to take the action. Get prepared. Yeah, take the action. And then I have to have that behavioural flexibility. I have to know that change is all around us. So if I don't have that behavioural flexibility, I'm going to break. So it's important for me to have that. And then I have to look at, how do I influence the people around me? Like, what is my impact on others? This is where you stop focusing internally and look at the people around you. What is my influence on you today? Have I got any sleepers in the room? Not yet. Only a couple of minutes to go. Smilers in the room, nodders in the room. And I have to recognise the impact I'm having on people. Thank you. And then, if I know who I'm going to be and what I'm going to do, then how do I have what I have? And today, because I practice those things, I have an amazing opportunity to be standing here at NAB doing the inaugural Ned Talk, to work with people on a daily basis and help them to change their lives. And I'm not a therapist, I'm a coach, so I don't do the work for them, they do the work. And they create the change. And they get to feel that sense of motivation that they have within. They get to look at their strengths. What now? Well, you know what? Discover what you do well and do more of it. Okay? Understand that change is by chance, not by choice. Whoops. Oh, strike that, reverse it, Willy Wonka moment. Change is by choice, not by chance. Okay? You choose everything that happens to you from the minute you walk out of this room. Okay? And the decisions you make will change your life. Bring your strengths to life. Like me, after those 4 days, I felt like a phoenix out of the ashes, I tell you. Yeah? That and a bit of Prozac? No. But I did. I felt a real new release on life, and I felt motivated. But this is years ago. It's only in the last 5 years that I've learned that that's what my talents were, and so now I'm here. What I want to give you is the opportunity to find that out now. Don't discover it after the fact and have to go through all the years of growing and learning and making mistakes. Discover it now. So I thank you for listening today, and I'll leave you with this. This is a bit of my positivity and a little video on our strengths and how they can work for us. I also have some information here if you're interested in finding out what your top 5 strengths are, and I do have the greatest gratitude for you all coming today. Thank you so much.